Today I'm going to be testing the REL, don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, the REL T9x. I'm going to take the grill off as well because why not? There we go. So there's the REL T9x, and we're going to be testing it alongside my Monitor Audio Studios, which I believe are up to the task of this music test. Bear in mind that we're going to be using a variety of sources today, and I am going to be using Spotify 320 kilobits per second, not because that's my preference, but just because that has all the music that I have been trying to test. Also, I'm going to be using some YouTube clips as well. What else can I say? We are in pure direct mode on my amplifier too. That's another thing. And yeah, the REL has been connected via the recommended high pass, which is going directly into the back of the amplifier, right, left, and ground. I have taken the time to set this up prior to this video, and I won't bore you with that. I've actually tested this for the last couple of days, so I pretty much know the outcome, but I'm going to do this anyway, so you guys can hear for yourselves. So the first thing I'm going to do is play back some music. Let's do that now. Just so you guys know, I am also recording binaural today, so you can get a pair of headphones and it should sound better than normal if you want to do that. Certain things you probably will be able to hear. So first of all, I'm going to play back a piece that might get me into trouble with copyright, but I'm going to risk it. I mean, technically this is a review, so fair use should apply. Here we are. This is the track Steely Dan Asia, which is one of their most famous tracks, I believe. Just this bit here. So that's the bit that I'm going to say. I think the REL handled this part of the music very well. I was quite impressed with that. Everything sounds there. Now what becomes a bit of an issue, it's in certain types of music, and it's not really the REL's fault. Neither would it be any subwoofer's fault. Basically, in this room, this is a medium-sized UK household room, right? So it's about 20 meters squared. In this room, there is a build-up of bass in the 50 to 60 hertz region. And this is directly affecting this subwoofer, as it would any other subwoofer. But let me play this back so you can hear, first of all, what I'm talking about. So here is a frequency sweep. We're going to start it from about 25 hertz, and you're going to see it's going to go up in 5 hertz increments. So there we go now. You might hear that now after 50 hertz the levels are going to go up. There we go. And then after 60 hertz the levels are going to calm down immediately. we go. And then 70 would be lower. There we go. Okay, so there's a problem in this room, and there's probably problems in the room that you're looking at now. Any indoor space is going to have certain problems with room modes, right? So the issue with this REL is one of their biggest selling points is the fact that they're using Class AB amplification partnered without a DSP on board to basically have control over the subwoofer and basically shape it to sound like how you want. The idea of that is the subwoofer, whatever signal it's getting, it's arriving at the output stage quicker, and so it's able to keep up. You know, that this is the term, keep up, or sound tighter, or sound faster, right? These are the terms that are thrown around a bit too much for my liking, to be honest, but that is what is causing the speakers, the subwoofer, to sound in time. And that's one of the benefits of connecting via high pass, and also not having a DSP. But it's a double-edged sword, because when you don't have the DSP, what am I gonna do about that nasty spike right there? You saw yourselves, you heard it yourselves if you've got headphones on. 45 and then 50, it jumps up quite considerably as well, right? So I have tried fiddling around with the back. I've tried basically putting the crossover lower. I've tried turning down the gain, but if you turn down the gain too much, then the rest of the bass is going to be missing. So you need to go through this like a bit more surgically, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to cut out that specific part of this frequency band. So that's one of the downsides of this. Of course, you could buy yourself a mini DSP and connect it between your amplifier, but that's one of the major strengths of your REL subwoofer. Now it's disappeared because the DSP is going to add lag. So the only other thing you can do with a normal stereo amplifier is you have to set delays for your speakers. So, you know, what's the real benefit there? That's the question. Leave your comments in the comment section. I personally think that there is definitely a case for going without the DSP, but overall I feel like the DSP, it serves you better. It gives you more than it takes away, in my opinion. And I feel like for a £1,400 subwoofer, I think that's how much this costs. It's either £1,300 or £1,400. I feel like it's I think it's a bit too much for me. Now, I heard the KEF KC62, and I felt that in this room I preferred the KC62 to this REL, and I can't believe I'm saying that, because if you see some of my KC62 videos in the past, you'll see what I'm referring to, because I did feel that was an overpriced subwoofer. Still decent sound, but yes, I would prefer the KEF KC62 to this in my room. Not meant to insult anybody there, it's just what I think. What else can I say about this? Yeah, so how is this actually going to affect you? Well, let me show you. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So an example of this, just a very crude example, but I found some no copyright music. And yeah, so take into account I have worked to try and get this REL as good as possible. In the REL manual, it says you can also put it in the corner. They recommend it, but I know this house, and I've put that in the corner, and I've tried other subwoofers in the corner, and it doesn't make it sound better. In fact, it makes it sound worse. That is a decent spot in this room. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to play you this, and you might hear that the bass line, don't know if you can tell through your headphones, but the bass line, there's something there in that region that I talked to you about earlier on, and it's a bit bloated, and I can't take it out using the standard REL controls. So yeah. Did you hear that there? Did you hear that note there? I'll do it again. There. Yeah. So this note comes up quite a lot. Now, between the, I can tell you, as a musician, at that 55 Hertz range, this is equivalent to an A. That's the note there. It's around, yeah, it is an A actually. I believe it is exactly an A. And 50 to 60 Hertz will be up or down from that A. So anything with that line, with that note, sorry, is got to sound a bit odd. So yeah, I just thought I'd let you know this. Is there anything else that I can say about this REL? Yeah, I mean, overall I think the design is nice. I think that's unnecessary. REL reckon that this is to stop vibrations, but I don't believe that. I think it's another attempt at branding the subwoofer. If you don't believe me, have a look at this. So that's one REL there. Here's another REL there. On the feet there, we have 1, 2, and then 3, 4, basically on all sides, 4, 8, 12, 16. So we've got 16 RELs written down on this cabinet, 17, 18, and then more at the back as well. So, you know, for me, that's, I don't believe it. Sorry guys, if you don't like me, whatever. That light there, that light is a bit bright. At night time, that really lights up this corner, which is a bit annoying. The red light in standby is also a bit bright, so that could be turned down. I'm only saying this because I've tested other subs, so I'm referring to those other subs that I've tested. What else can I say? Heatsink is nice. That's a very nice. It feels a bit more premium, I would say. What else can I say? Oh yeah, these dials I like. One thing I did like was you can feel each micro click. So when you adjust the sub, I was using this quite a bit. Just a very soft click, you can feel it. So that's good. Yeah, the crossover, you might see the crossover there. The crossover, it doesn't have any numbers on it. So you can tell the bottom one is 30 Hertz. The top is 120 Hertz. So in between that, I mean, I know that these monitor audios, they cross over around, they start bottoming out around 50, 60 Hertz, depending on the room. In this room, it will be lower because of that 50 Hertz spike I talked to you about earlier. So that's kind of why I've had to set the crossover so low on that REL, so it kind of doesn't add to that. So yeah, is this REL going to be the, you know, the solve everything subwoofer, the one box solution to your problems? No, it's not. I don't think so, because a lot of it comes down to your room, as I have just shown you in this video, and your ability to iron out those problems. What could you do instead for £1,400? Well, if you want the high pass, I can understand why you'd want it, because there's a lot of arguments in the audiophile community about, oh, you know, is it better or is it not? I don't think it's better, but I do think it provides you a unique alternative to connecting your sub. So for example, with this REL, we have two connections. We have the LFE there and we have the high pass, and we have separate dials for both. So you could use this as a movie sub. You could connect it via LFE, and then when you're listening to music, you can use the high pass for that purpose. And that way you have two settings on your subwoofer, one for music, and then the LFE will be controlled by a receiver. So that is a benefit. That's where I see a benefit. But is REL the only company that provides high pass speaker connection? No, they're not. There's loads of companies that do it. SVS is one of the companies that does it actually. I believe the SB1000 Pro might have a speaker level connection on the back. So they have that. There are Yamaha subwoofers. They're not very popular anymore. I have tested one of those Yamaha Suavo subwoofers last year before I really started this channel. That had a really nice sound. Probably better than that, to be honest with you. 35 kilos it was in weight, 10-inch subwoofer. Like it was really nice quality, that thing. Yeah, and that was servo control. That had a servo feature as well, which reduces distortion even more. But that had speaker level connection. But one more brand that does it is actually a direct to manufacturer brand in the UK, and they're called BK Electronics. And if you don't like the idea of going, you know, to a direct to manufacturer, now I'll tell you a story. REL and BK were actually affiliated at one point. BK, from what I've heard, were the suppliers of and they were the designers and the producers of REL products in the 90s, I think, and probably the early noughties, I think. And I think maybe now they've gone separate ways, but that tells me that the REL brand, Welsh company, the REL brand was built upon BK's expertise as well. It wasn't just the people at REL doing this. At least that's my guess. Okay, now BK, they have basically all their subwoofers have high pass on the back, and they have LFE as well. So for an option that's going to cost you at least half the price, BK is there for you to do. They do sealed designs, they do passive radiator designs, and they do big ported boxes as well for people who want movie subwoofers. The Monolith, there's another one called the Platinum, the passive radiator, which they do a sealed box as well. And they do 10-inch, they do 12-inch. I believe they might even do an 8-inch as well, or a double 10-inch called the Gemini 2 or something. So yeah, there's alternatives, is what I'm trying to say to you guys. You don't just have to buy into this. Oh, you know, REL have the high pass, no one else does it. I don't understand why I keep reading stuff like that. You know, it's a decent subwoofer, guys. It's a decent subwoofer. I just think it is overpriced, and I know that because I have T9Is in the corridor over there, and the T9i that was originally £1,000. Well, I've just picked them up for £600, and that's because they're gone at end of line. So that gives you an indication of what they're really worth. Anyway, I'm going to stop nattering now. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk more in the review about this.